Hold on. It's going to take me a second here, folks. I'm a little late to the sharing part of this. I'm trying to share it from the Illini account so maybe people will actually watch.
Doubt it.
Yep. Well, you can always try things, 67% on my phone. Gonna plug that in. Many would say, "Why'd you go live if you weren't ready?" Well, guess what? I'm ready now. Here we go.
Are
2024.
you ever ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Okay.
Every time. 2024 NCAA tournament Sweet 16 preview. I tried to print out my notes, and my printer sucks. The color. I mean, I can see everything that I wrote. It's just not as good as I'd like it to be. Anyway, none of that matters. I can still, remember and read what I said. All right, let's start with just to look back at the first two rounds. I think the first, I don't know, there's really no rhyme or reason to the order that I wrote this stuff in. But
Makes
interesting
sense.
things of note. I mean, you have Marquette getting to a Sweet 16 the first time under Shaka Smart for them. I believe their last Sweet 16 was 2017, 2015, one of those 2 years, maybe. Maybe not. Definitely not. Okay. Jesus, I'm reading the wrong things. Anyway, Marquette's first Sweet 16 since 2013, it appears. They got the Elite Eight that year with Buzz Williams. So there you go. I don't know why I thought it was 16, but anyway, Shaka Smart getting there. This is the team to do it with. You had Kolek and Jones and Iguodaro and all those guys coming back.
Yeah.
Things were a little sketchy against Western Kentucky. It did get, to the point where Western Kentucky was up at the half, I believe. Was that 43-36? They're up at the half, and then, a big second half from Marquette with 51 points to win that game. But they pretty much controlled the game against Colorado. It got close. They only won by 4, but they controlled it. And I think Colorado's lack of, smart decision-making down the stretch, as well as, Cody Williams missing that 3 in the corner, kind of stuck the nail in the coffin there. But Kolek has been really good. And I think it's showing that them resting him in the Big East tournament was the right call.
Smart.
And towards the end of the season, too. He had, he had 6 turnovers in this game, but you're allowed to have 6 turnovers if you have 21 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists.
Yeah. 10 of 14 shooting, too.
Yeah. Allowed is maybe a strong word, but still. Both teams in that game turned it over 12 times, but Marquette much more ready to be in the Sweet 16 than Colorado. Colorado's good. They're old and they're talented, but Marquette's just better. And the result's not too surprising there. Purdue, I believe, was down 24-23 to Utah State and just turned on the burners. They won that. They beat Utah State by 39. I think one part of this game was just like Utah State, a lot of poor decision making on the offensive end. Like they were taking a lot of bad shots.
Yeah.
And you're not going to beat Purdue for doing that. So
yeah.
And Purdue shot at 48% from 3.
Yeah, Purdue putting up 106 when Edey had 2 points in the second half is pretty good sign for Purdue, I would say.
Yeah, first game with a TKR sighting since the Illinois game in January. So
yeah,
he put up 18, and I mean, if Purdue's scoring like that, it's gonna be hard to beat them. Man, I picked them to win the national championship in the preseason. I picked them to win it in my official bracket. So I thought Utah State would maybe put up a bit of a better fight, but it got away from them and they couldn't recover. That's not too surprising. Speaking of the Big Ten, 2 Big Ten teams remain alive. Illinois is the other one. They're in the Sweet 16 first time since 2005, which I've seen a lot of people say, and it is true. So there you go. I think a lot of people that maybe aren't Big Ten fans are probably surprised that it's 19 years.
Been that while. Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that they didn't even get back in 2006 was brutal. The 06 team was 26-7. Lost to Washington by 3 in the second round. So, and that was, that team still had Augustine, you still had D Brown. So McBride, you still had some guys. You had freshman Chester Frazier, who didn't play that much, but was there. Yeah, it's a shame, but what can you do? It's good to be here now.
Yeah.
And the Jay
Exciting
Wright story
times.
is an interesting one. The Jay Wright story is an interesting one.
Yeah, I haven't read that much into it, but
It's just like it seems like it was kind of an encouragement of, hey, maybe you should. It seems like the concept of the offense they're running now with Damask backing guys down, booty ball basically,
yeah,
Damask backing guys down and kicking to shooters and stuff, and opening up the floor and spacing for Hawkins and Shannon, which is why I think Iowa State's gonna have their hands full against them. We'll get to that, and we're totally unbiased, but it seems like Jay Wright was the one who kind of said that Brad should do it or
told Brad
something.
he should
Which
go to that.
it's like Brad should maybe figure that out himself. I think he did in some ways, but yeah, I think it shows
Yeah,
that the
after Penn
people,
State dominated him with it last year.
right, the people that have said to us on the other show things about like Brad, is stubborn and doesn't adjust, like that's so far from the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. He's definitely tried multiple different ways to get to the Sweet 16. He found a way that worked. So,
And it does help that they finally got a matchup in the second round that was good for them.
yeah, you got to take them when you get them.
And the thing about last year's team is even if they beat Arkansas, they had a 0% chance to beat Kansas. And a 0% chance to beat Arkansas, that's why they lost to them. So,
yeah.
In the Houston game, Houston was clearly better. Who cares about the seeding? I think Illinois is a 4, Houston was a 5. And then Loyola, that's just there's no excuse to the Loyola thing. I don't care what anybody says. Looking back on it now, that team had no business not being in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And by the way, win your conference games, folks. If you're there's fans who are out there who complain because they didn't make the tournament or they got a bad seed because of non-conference scheduling. UConn, 283rd non-conference strength of schedule. Houston, 227th non-conference strength of schedule. Duke, 196th. Iowa State, 345th. Illinois, 259th. Those are all top 10 KenPom teams with poor non-conference strength of schedule who took care of most of their business in the non-conference.
Yeah.
Illinois lost to Marquette and Tennessee, won the rest of their games, then won 14 Big Ten games. Iowa State lost to Virginia Tech and Texas A&M, recovered, won 13 conference games, won the conference tournament. Duke, they had a bit of a, they lost to Arkansas, so that's not good. But Arkansas and Arizona, and then won 15 conference games. So, yes, I think teams should schedule tougher non-conferences when they can, but also be better in conference play. So that's my thought. There's a lot of teams. Not everyone's Purdue. Like Purdue's 10th in the country, non-conference strength schedule. They beat everybody. All three of the other team, what is it? Is it 2 or 3? Tennessee and Gonzaga. They beat Tennessee and Gonzaga. They're both still in that bracket. So there you go. They didn't beat Creighton. They beat Creighton last year? No, probably not. Anyway, it was Maui. I mean, most of the teams left in the tournament were at Maui, pretty much.
Yeah.
North Carolina had a bit of a slow first half against Michigan State, but they handled business. 26-8 run in the final 10 minutes of the first half. I think everybody probably knew that Michigan State, this team wasn't it in terms of having a deep run.
Right.
A few good players, but Hogard 1 for 10 from the field with 3 points. Like, that's not going to get done. And they weren't great on the glass. Not to say, I mean, they out-rebounded North Carolina by 5, but only 6 offensive rebounds. You need more than that. And 11 turnovers and 20 fouls. And Baycott, they had no answer, unsurprisingly. RJ Davis making shots. Harrison Ingram 5 for 7 from 3. Just not a fair fight. No surprise with that result. Arizona's guards, I'm believing. I mean, I'm trusting in their guards right now the way they're playing. Dayton hung around, but at the end of the day, Caleb Love 19 points on 6 of 14 shooting. Jaden Bradley 12 points on 3 of 7 shooting, and Boswell didn't have to do anything, and they got it done. I mean, I'd like to see them probably, get a little bit more production from a couple of those guys. Like I think Ballo can put up more than 8 and try to,
3 rebounds by him too.
Yeah, you need more than that. I mean, he had
Yeah.
13 against Long Beach and 12 against Oregon in the Pac-12 tournament, 13 against USC. So definitely need more boards, especially when their best guy, Deron Holmes, who's maybe the best player on the floor in this game, had 11 rebounds.
Yeah.
Got to be better. NC State, who I completely had zero thought on them winning a tournament game, let alone
Yeah.
being in the Sweet 16. Obviously, fortunate that they end up playing Oakland in the second round, but they got it done. And I mean, they have no chance against Marquette, right? But they're still here.
Yeah. I mean, they're playing with a lot of passion and a lot of energy for what they've gone through. I don't know. I don't think they have a chance, but I want to count them out right now.
I think the issue for them is probably going to be trying to counter or stop Marquette on
Yeah.
offense. Like, I don't think they have the guys to slow down Kolek and Cam Jones, and I think Iguodaro can also have a good game here. I mean, you got to wonder. DJ Burns, he's a bigger fella. He played 42 minutes against Oakland. I know you get like 5 days off or whatever, 6 days off, but he's been playing a lot, at least, in the ACC tournament. He didn't play much in the Texas Tech game because they dominated. The fact that they could beat Texas Tech by 13 and Burns only played 16 minutes, I think is huge. But I don't think they have a chance. But it's been a fun run, I guess. I don't know. I find some of these ACC teams so boring, but then every year they make it like there's always too many ACC teams in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. Every time.
Kentucky, just gutless, pathetic loss to Oakland in the first round. You're way too talented. You have way too many athletes. You have way too many good players to lose to Oakland. And that's not a slight on Oakland at all. It's just like, come on. You let a guy who is going to be bagging groceries, hypothetically, and this is obviously a joke, but
yeah,
you got to find somebody to put a body on him, get physical, stay in front of him, force super tough shots.
I mean, they don't play defense, and they don't. It's like they have no grit to them on the defensive end. And I know that Alabama doesn't play defense. Illinois doesn't play defense. Kentucky literally doesn't play defense.
The red flag, everybody should have been out on Kentucky when they gave up 102 points to Arkansas on March 2nd. That's when it should have been like, okay, this team sucks. I mean, they don't defend at all. Yeah. And like the difference between Alabama and Illinois and Kentucky, outside of just the fact that Kentucky plays zero defense, Kentucky also like doesn't have anybody on this team that has had a proven, not even a proven track record, but like you have a lot of guys in this team. It's just a collection of talent. There's no connectivity between these, like this team. Like, it's just, and you know what else? Nate Oates and Brad Underwood are way better in-game coaches than John Calipari at this stage. John Calipari seemingly did nothing in this game to change anything.
Right. Yeah. It's just like he's like, let me throw my 5 stars out and they're going to.
It is the definition of just rolling the ball out there and thinking you're going to be better than the other team. And you know what? That's not how you win in postseason in any sport. So they got to change the philosophy. I would get rid of Calipari. That's just me. We'll talk about that a little more later.
Really?
But I don't think they're going to do it because I think they have about as gutless of an athletic director as you'll see in college sports. Moving along, Creighton wins a double OT Classic over Oregon in the round of 32. Oregon with a good run, Oregon started to figure things out. Talented group. It helps that Jermaine Couisnard realized that, hey, it's my last chance to, play college basketball. So here we go,
Yeah.
Because he's been playing for like 300 years. But, yeah, he had 72 points in the tournament. So came up short. I mean, Creighton – Ashworth started to make shots, and Oregon was clearly out of gas in that second overtime. They should have won this game in regulation. Like, they should have gotten the ball to someone other than Dante to shoot the free throws. And I mean, he did go 4 for 5, but that's still not the guy you want. I mean, he shoots at 61% from the free throw line. I think Shellstad was out at that point. I think he got hurt and wasn't in the game. He's an 85% free throw shooter. So maybe a bit of a screw up there from Dana Altman, but there's so many coaches going up against their former schools. Like Altman's the all-time winningest coach at Creighton. I think he's 30 wins ahead of McDermott or 20 something. Rick Barnes in Texas. Like I feel like nobody talked about the Altman one because we were all, Rick Barnes in Texas, and it's great. But I think for quality of matchups, I think the better team won here with Creighton. So it's unfortunate.
Fair.
Dante was on a great run, 28-20.
Yeah,
in this game.
It's insane.
With 2 blocks and 2 steals. But yeah, they only shot 5 free throws somehow, and they were all from him. Interesting officiating in that game. Tennessee's offense looked terrible, but they beat Texas 62-58. Close game here. I think if you're Tennessee, you take away that Connect couldn't make a shot. Connect and Ziegler, 2 for 16 from 3. And they were 3 for 25 as a team. But they got it done defensively. They were great. 42 rebounds, for 17 turnovers. Texas had 17 turnovers, 9 steals on the Tennessee side, including 3 apiece from Ziegler and Vescovy. So you get it done, And Texas, I didn't think was that great this year anyway. It's unfortunate that a backcourt of Asmus and Hunter couldn't have been, surrounded by a better team, I guess. I don't know. Is that the excuse? I don't know. Texas should not have been – like Chris Beard would have had Texas at like a 4 seed this year probably.
Yeah.
But we know how it goes, What else did I write? Grand Canyon, Alabama was an extremely sloppy basketball game.
Oh, my gosh.
Grand Canyon really struggled to do stuff with the basketball.
I had a buddy text me and say, I watched a game just like this earlier today. It was 3rd graders. So.
Seems about right.
Yeah, that was an insane game. But
I was right about Grand Canyon. That's all that matters. I had Grand Canyon beating St. Mary's, losing to Alabama. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
I thought Clemson, impressive win over Baylor. Clemson, a team that I don't really like watching, but they're in the Sweet 16. I mean, PJ Hall's really good. Baylor missed a ton of free throws. What were they? 16 for 26 from the free throw line. Like you can't do that. And Jacoby Walter 5 for 11
from 3 too.
Yeah, like Jacoby Walter is an 80% free throw shooter, 5 for 11 in this game.
Yeah,
that's tough. But I mean, Baylor has not made it to the Sweet 16 since winning national championship. 3 straight second-round exits.
Ouch.
Count them, folks. 3 straight. 2022, they were a 1 seed, lost to North Carolina. 2023, they were a 3 seed, lost to Creighton. And then this year, 3 seed, lose to Clemson. So Clemson, the team that I don't think anybody had Clemson winning in the first round, basically. I mean, everybody thought New Mexico, including myself. I'm an idiot, but either way.
Yeah, I don't think many people had Clemson getting to the Sweet 16.
They had some weird. Their results are weird this year. Lost at Miami, lost at Virginia Tech, lost at home in overtime against Georgia Tech, but then also won at North Carolina. So I don't know, and plus their one ACC tournament game they got beat by 20 by Boston College. So I don't know. It's like a decent lineup, but I don't know.
As an Illinois fan, are you glad that Ray J. Dennis didn't come to Illinois now?
I don't know. It depends on how you view Illinois. Like, do you think Ray J. Dennis in the Ty Rodgers role would have made Illinois a better team on both ends? I don't know. Probably not.
I just don't know I don't know. Yeah, we always talk about score first point guard, and I don't know if that would have helped Illinois right now. So
no,
he forced some shots late, tried to do things on his own. Wasn't much team basketball down the stretch of that game.
They also were without Langston Love, which changes the dynamic a little bit. Kind of forces, other guys to do more. I mean, Jacoby Walter, just shocking that he was that bad from the free throw line. And Baylor's always been like Scott Drew, like they rely on guards a lot. Like they have Dennis, Walter, Nunn, and they had Love. Like all four of those guys were huge parts of the team. And I know that they'd been without Langston Love for a while. Like he played 22 minutes against Texas Tech and then hasn't played since. That was 4 games ago, and he missed 4 games and then 3 games. So like he's missed a lot of time. But you're always going to be, affected by a guy who he shot 48% from 3. So it's a big loss. It's an excuse too, and I think they've earned one more excuse. This is their last one, but they better get back to the Sweet 16 next year. And Scott Drew, heavily pursued by Louisville, but didn't work out. Shame. Northwestern fought hard, but UConn was pretty. I mean, the first half UConn was UConn offensively wasn't great in this game, but they were like forcing Northwestern into some brutal stuff. Like they showed that they could defend with anybody. Like it just didn't look like it looked like D1, D2 in that first half.
Yeah.
And nothing to hang your hat on for Northwestern. I mean, they're without 2 starters, win a tournament game over a fraudulent FAU team. And they hung around. I mean, it wasn't, they outscored UConn by 7 in the final 10.
Yeah. And
lose by 17 instead of 27.
Boo Booey struggled this game.
17 instead of 24. Sorry, wrong math. Yeah, Boo Booey, tough way to go out. But at least he had at least, they won 2 tournament games in his career. And he's another guy who his first year at Northwestern, they were 8-23. So he's, had a similar impact to other guys that we've seen that dare I say, Boo Booey is a Northwestern legend. Dare I say?
I would say so. Yeah.
I mean, if Illinois fans are just allowed to call Trent Frazier an Illini legend, but then if Nebraska or Northwestern call Tominaga or Bowie a Northwestern or Nebraska legend, it's like the end of the world. That's where the logic just makes 0 sense to me. Like 0 sense. But whatever. I mean, it's what happens when you let fucking stupid ass 18-year-olds who are brainless morons run Twitter accounts. So there you go. Because like 90%, I've gotten several reports about how bad the other Barstool Viceroy accounts are. So there you go. Texas A&M Houston, a classic. Thank God Houston won, because we don't need Texas A&M Duke in the Sweet 16. Nobody needs that. That's the other thing that pisses me off a little bit. It doesn't really piss me off. It just annoys me. Like everybody wants, we want upsets and Cinderellas and all this crap. All these matchups are very good.
Yeah.
For the most part, except for the fact that NC State's going to get its doors blown off by Marquette. Other than that, we got the best matchups. The first 2 days you can want the upsets and whatnot, but Saturday and Sunday, you want the best teams to win, because nobody needed, let's think of an example here. I mean, do we really need a Grand Canyon, Michigan State Sweet 16? Like, I know there's no chance, but like, do we really need that?
No.
Really need a Western Kentucky, NC State Sweet 16 if that somehow happened? I mean, come on. We don't need that. But Houston got it done. A little worried about them right now. I mean, the
only positive I guess they can take out, like, people say that they're a defensive team. They scored the ball in this game. Like they didn't have any problem scoring.
It's because of their 3 guards.
Yeah. Sheed was
Sharp had 30, Shed had 21, Cryer had 20.
Yeah.
Also, Texas A&M had 26 offensive rebounds.
Yeah. And Houston had 4 guys foul out of this game.
Yeah, 4 of their 5 starters, and then Roberts at the end had 4.
Crazy.
So yeah, there's a lot. I mean, 45 to 30 free throw attempts, but
yeah,
Houston prevails. They get it done. And then San Diego State Yale was a snoozer. It wasn't close from the start.
I'm so glad, because I was ready for bed.
I mean, UConn Yale would have been pretty funny if that somehow happened. It would have been like 98 to 33 or something. But either way, all right. Let's do the games now. the Sweet 16 games. Starting here, the first one from Boston on Thursday at 6:39 Central, TBS, True TV, UConn, San Diego State from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. My suggestion was that they keep the parquet floor of the TD Garden for the Celtics and just take away the Celtics logos and put the NCAA tournament logo and change some other things, but it's not going to happen. Either way, UConn 33-3, number one seed, number one overall seed. They are the first. I don't know if I have the year right on this. I believe they are the first defending national champion to make it to the Sweet 16 since Duke in 2016. Because if you look at other years with defending national champions, 2016 was Villanova. They lost I think Villanova lost in round 2, maybe even I think it was round 2 both times in defending their national championship. And then Virginia, their first tournament since winning a national championship, they lost to Ohio. So, and then obviously Baylor we talked about, and the other one that we talked about too, right? I don't know. Kansas lost to Arkansas last year. There you go. Anyway, so UConn, they've been dominating teams for a while. I think they're 39-3 in their last 42 games in the last 2 years or something. Because they 33-3 this year, and then they won 6 in a row in the tournament last year. So 39-3 in the last 42. San Diego State, this is like the weirdest rematch of a national championship ever. The fact that this is even a thing is crazy, but here we are. San Diego State 5 seed beat UAB, was close, beat them by 4, and then beat Yale by 28 last night. Jaden Ledee is a very good player. They got several other guys back from that team. UConn has all of the weapons that you need to win another one. I think Klingon, the way that he affects the game is astronomical, and Tristan Newton really hasn't shot it very well in the tournament so far from 3, at least yesterday. He was 3 for 5 against Stetson, which is fine, but 0 for 6 yesterday. So shooting it well, probably an overreaction. I mean, he was also 7 for 7 from 2, but from 3, he can't go 0 for 6. But yeah, I think this is UConn's a bad matchup for anybody. So I don't think San Diego State has a chance. But I think it'll be a little closer. I think maybe like a backdoor, keep it within 10, not a cover. I don't know what the spread is, but
10.5.
10.5. Okay, so yeah, it would be. My prediction would be a backdoor cover, 74-65, UConn by 9. I don't think this game, it's just, there's too many guys to guard. It feels like they have 6 guys out there, and they move so well. It's just they're in their own tier right now.
And Hurley has them playing like everybody against us. So
it's perfect too.
Yeah, absolutely. I got UConn winning by 15, 78-63.
I mean, I can't believe this is a national championship rematch. It's so stupid. Shows you how absurd last year's tournament was. Next up in the East region, that'll be right after it's at 9 o'clock or whatever, 9:09 approx. Woo! Spread's already going down. Illinois is the 3 seed, Iowa State the 2 seed. As of right now, Ken Pom, this is the number 1 offensive efficiency with Illinois, the number 1 defensive efficiency with Iowa State. Very mixed results when you go back in history between one offense against 1 defense.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we should take too much into account as to how this will play out.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw somebody share. I think the defense is won 1 time out of 4 or 5, whatever it is. So
I think if you go back 20 years, though, it's like 5-4 or something.
Okay, yeah.
But,
so I don't know. I'm a homer. I'm going to pick Illinois to win this by 1. Terrence Shannon to the lane, buckets, 78-77 Illinois.
What do you think about the total in this game? 146.5.
I think it'll be over.
Yeah, 78 plus 77 would be, right?
Yeah, it'd be like
155, yeah.
10 over, yeah.
Well, my thought is Illinois is what? 20 – they have a really good record in overs in the last few months. It's
20 or something. Yeah, 24-2 or
yeah, so I don't know. I just don't. Iowa State, it's going to be if Illinois' offense is the way it's been, I don't really see what Iowa State can do. Iowa State's going to need to have an uncharacteristic offensive performance, which their most points scored against what I would classify as a good opponent this year is 82 against Texas Tech. So, and they also scored 90 against Iowa, but is Iowa a good opponent? I don't know. Maybe not this year.
Does Iowa play defense?
I can also just say, here's something that you won't hear in the mainstream media. Iowa State gave up 80 points to DePaul on December 1st.
Wow.
That was a long time ago, but Jesus, what the hell is that? Coming off of 2 losses, too. You'd think they'd tighten up the defense. But whatever. Yeah, I got Illinois 76-72. More preview of that game on the Illini Basketball Podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
And Hinkle will be there. Cheer
sure.
for us, Hinkle.
There you go. The West region games are also on Thursday. They're in Crypto.com Arena, a.k.a. the Staples Center, Los Angeles, California. The first game, 6:09 CBS Central Time, that is, so 4:09 local. Clemson, Arizona is the first one I'm going to do here because it's first.
Okay.
I've decided.
Switch it up for me. That's fine.
Yeah, what does it matter?
It doesn't.
I think Arizona's going to match up well. I just think from a guard perspective, like they have the guys, and if you can get Boswell going offensively a little bit, I think that's huge. If you look at kind of the tail of the tape, so to speak, this will be a tough game for PJ Hall. I know he's a big body, and I know he's gotten it done against some good opponents, but you got Ballo, the big fella in there. You got Keyshawn Johnson's going to crash the boards. That's a guy who's physical. Played at San Diego State last year. Shoots at 40% from 3. Can step out as well. Probably not as good of a rebounder as I'd like him to be, but that's all right. I'm not his coach, so whatever. Tommy Lloyd knows more than basketball than me. Probably. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Clemson's good, but I think the run-ins here, I got Arizona winning this one 83-64. So a bit of a blowout, I guess.
Yeah.
Predicting.
Big time blowout. I got Arizona winning by 10. 79-69. Clemson's kind of impressed me in this little 2-game run. I haven't watched a lot of them play, but PJ Hall didn't have a great game in their last game and fouled out. So I expect him to step up a little bit. But I think Arizona's too good.
I think Clemson.
We've been saying Arizona's good, and then they do something that disappoints us. So.
Yeah. I think Clemson has 4 things that they do well that you need to do well to have a chance. And that is they don't turn the ball over very much. They're good from 3. They're good from 2, and they make their free throws. 8th in the country in free throws. I know they missed a few, but I think you're allowed to. And that's going to be a big part of this game. The good thing for Arizona is that they're 109th in turnover percentage on offense, which isn't bad, but it's not great. But Clemson also, similar to a lot of teams that are good this year, just don't force turnovers on the defensive end. 341st in turnover percentage in the defensive end. So keep an eye on that. I mean, they have the size. Clemson's bigger, average height. So maybe I shouldn't have picked it to be a 19-point game, but I did. So 8:39 Central, CBS projected tip-off there. North Carolina, Alabama. Interesting matchup here. I think offense is the first thing I'd think of. But I think at the end of the day, when it comes to playing like the clean basketball, with the ball moving, not turning it over, is where I worry about Alabama.
Yeah.
They're the number 4 offense in the country. UNC's the number 6 defense. The good thing, though, for Alabama is that North Carolina is 310th in turnover percentage of the defensive. And there's so many good teams this year that just don't have a high turnover percentage on defense. And the fact that North Carolina is 6th in defense and they don't turn teams over, I think says that they can match up, on-ball defending, and you can hide Cormac Ryan and not have to worry about him being a liability on the defensive end. White Notre Dame guy, no way he's playing defense. North Carolina also 16th in offense. So I just think this is a good matchup for North Carolina. Plus, I think the basketball world needs R.J. Davis against Caleb Love in the Elite Eight. I think that we need that. And I think it'd be a great game. Alabama's going to need to make threes. That's their only hope. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think the over-under I have here is 173.5. I have it at 172 on my score. So sucks to suck if you're a gambler. North Carolina 90, Alabama 82.
Yeah, this is completely personal because I own Alabama. Anyways, I don't know if right cell's gonna be back. Concussion protocol or something. I don't know. Sears was cramping up at the end of the last game. Diabate had a pretty good game. I'm gonna take Alabama winning this 93-89. Name my roll to tide or whatever they say.
I think in order for Alabama to win, you're going to need Aaron Estrada to have a Hofstra Aaron Estrada game. Because if Sears is not making them and if Wrightsell's not playing, that's like your top guard to score right there. So they're going to need that.
I'm scared. They need the rest. Hopefully they'll get it. But yeah, that's completely a personal I need them to win pick. Not that I think that they're going to win pick. So
good analysis. All right.
That's what I do. I give the great analysis. That's why I'm on this show.
Absolutely. On to the South region, which is played in Dallas, American Airlines Center. We're just going to do first game again. Marquette, NC State, 6:09 Friday night.
This to me.
Well, it's in order now. I'm trying to bring order to it. I was going by
the
seating
dock in order.
Town. Yeah, I know. Whatever. It was, whatever.
What are we doing?
NC State Marquette, South Region first game. 6:09 CBS Central Time, Dallas, Texas, American Airlines Center. Tickets as low as $208, by the way.
What a deal.
Zero excuse for Marquette to not roll the ball out and beat this team. I mean, they're just better.
Yeah.
And Marquette this year, they're balanced. I think last year there were some elements where their offense was a lot better than their defense. From an efficiency standpoint, this year I think their defense is much better. I know the numbers are closer than they should be. I just think if you look at them play, I think they force teams into tougher shots. And they have some injuries that are a bit concerning. But you still have, your Kolick, Cam Jones duo in the backcourt. You still have Joplin at the 4, Iguodaro at the 5. Chase Ross has been good for them. Stevie Mitchell stepped in and made some plays. Ben Gold and Chase Ross as well. Marquette's just better. I think now is the time for NC State to bow out. They've won 8 games or 7 games in a row. So the steam's going to run out here and it's over. So 86-70 Marquette.
Yeah, another game not worth watching. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm going to go 77-71. I think NC State's going to keep this close, have a chance. I'm not going to count out the Wolfpack. They've been rolling. DJ Burns, man on a mission. Period.
Duke and Houston. 8:39 approximate tip time. CBS on Friday night. Also in Dallas, of course. I like Duke in this game, but I'm concerned about how they handle the physicality. Like, is Kyle Filipowski going to be in a wheelchair in the first 5 minutes? He's going to be limping around, crying. That's a concern. And Duke, not great, not very sharp in the first round against Vermont, but took care of business. But then the game against James Madison, they just took it to him from start to finish. And that's the Duke version that I think is why I think they'll win this game. I have Duke winning 66-63. I think if you're Duke, you're going to need Filipowski to play well. He had 3 points against Vermont, 6 for 8, 14, 5 and 4 with a block and 2 steals against James Madison. Obviously, they beat James Madison by 30? A lot. They beat him by a lot.
Yeah,
38, I think. But yeah, I think Duke can handle the physicality of Houston, and they shoot it well from 3. Houston guards it well from 3. I'll be curious to see the offensive rebounding stuff, because that's one thing that Houston does allow is offensive rebounds, but they get a lot of offensive rebounds. So that'll be interesting. But I think Duke gets it done.
Me too.
66-63.
Okay.
71-68.
71-68. I got a 3-point game also.
Is it going to be tied and they hit a 3 late?
Nope. They're gonna be up 1. Duke's gonna be up 1. They get fouled, make 2 free throws. Houston misses a 3 at the buzzer.
I like it a lot. I don't know if I like it though. I really want Duke to win. It's good for my bracket. I think I did have Duke in the Final Four.
I have Duke, yeah. It's good for my bracket too.
Midwest region, definitely the two most intriguing matchups, I would say, just because you have, the same thing as the West region, 1 against a 5, 2 against a 3. First game here, Gonzaga, Purdue. This is 6:39 TBS True TV. This is from Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan, the home of the Detroit Red Wings, of course, and Detroit Pistons. Who cares about them, though? Tickets as low as $244. Quite expensive.
Yeah.
Purdue coming off of a game where they dominated Utah State. Gonzaga coming off of a game where they dominated Kansas. So here's the thing about this Gonzaga team. Number one, I've been right about them this entire time. I don't care that they lost to St. Mary's in the West Coast Championship. Where's St. Mary's right now?
Sitting at home watching.
Ike's healthy. Nimhard is an elite point guard. Hickman making shots. He's 6 for 10 from 3 in the tournament. Anton Watson's been doing it forever. This is his 5th year there, his 5th Sweet 16, or I guess 4th Sweet 16 because of COVID. He had 21 and 6 against Kansas, which is not that much like him. He hasn't had many games where he scores this many points. This year he's had a couple 30 bombs, but to do it against Kansas like that, the better team won that game for sure. Kansas was done. I think anybody with a set of eyes could see that, even if they're bad eyes. I can still see it. And then Purdue playing good ball. I mean, I think Gonzaga does have the shot making ability to keep this close. I think if you can, make Edey do this instead of this, make him do this, like Nimhard pull-up jumpers, Hickman pull-up jumpers. You got to keep Ike out of foul trouble. That's a huge concern because that's a guy who fouls a lot.
He does.
Yeah. And you're going to get some minutes from some other, like Ben Gregg's going to have to play. I mean, he had 32 minutes and was great, 6 for 6 from the field against Kansas, but he's going to have to do it too. They're going to need that. But I think Gonzaga has the horses to get it done. I just can't pick them. I just think it's going to be a battle, but I'm going to take Purdue 83, Gonzaga 81.
I'll take the Zags for you. Give me Gonzaga 84-79. I usually don't hate fan bases besides idiot Illinois fans, but Purdue fans are really starting to make me hate them.
I just don't understand why they can enjoy things,
Yeah. And I also own Gonzaga too, so I need them to win. But on top of that, I think Gonzaga, the whole we beat them in November thing is crazy because Gonzaga is a different team. Purdue's the same team, if you ask me. So except for Colvin or whatever that dude's name is that's playing now. But other than that, they are the same.
He had 6 points against Gonzaga.
Yeah. So I think Gonzaga is a different team. Purdue's the same team. Give me Gonzaga by 5.
Before we get to the next game, I think there's a couple things about this Purdue team that is a little different.
I love this Purdue team, by the way. I think they're really good.
I think we all realize that they're good. If you don't, you just
you're an idiot.
I think number one, they realized that okay, Caleb First cannot play serious minutes on this team. Yeah. He played 13 minutes against Purdue against Gonzaga was an actual rotation guy. That's not the case anymore. Morton, pretty much the same thing. So they brought in different bench guys who did play in that game against Gonzaga. But I think both of these teams are playing well, peaking at the right time. Maybe. I mean, Purdue's looked about as good as anybody for the entire season. But then you have the element that they lost to Wisconsin going in, a little rest, whatever. And Zach Edey is not skilled. He's just tall. Right, guys? High five. But no, it's just like Purdue fans.
I don't get it.
Did you see
They just seem miserable.
Mark Titus's fight against them?
Yeah, a little bit of it.
Yeah, I was retweeting his, and he really hammers the point home about just how like insane these folks are. Like
Yeah.
they gotta relax. Like,
And I'm sure it's like Illinois where it's like a really small percentage, but they're the loudest percentage. So it's just, it's exhausting.
This is, and what Titus tweeted about them is exactly what I've been saying for months. Somebody basically said to him, "What do you want Purdue to do instead?" Which was, I guess Purdue fan not liking watching Purdue playing.
Yeah.
And he said nothing. Never said Purdue should do anything different or that it's their fault. Just said it's a brutal watch. That's all. In a perfect world, Purdue fans just shrug their shoulders because it works, and that's all that matters. Their inferiority complex won't allow that, though. Like And then he also said that their fan base attacks anyone who dares to believe Edey might not be Kareem and then wonder why you get made fun of. I'm voting for him for National Player of the Year. I said in preseason Purdue would cruise in Big Ten and was Final Four bound. That's apparently not enough.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it, guys. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
But they're incapable.
Don't lose to Gonzaga because you're going to hear it too.
Part of me wants the Big Ten to win something. Part of me wants Gonzaga to win this game.
That's fair.
And the part that wins out, I want Gonzaga to win this game. Tennessee Creighton. I will put, they say, what do they say? Something you put country over something. I'm putting my hate for Purdue fans over wanting the Big Ten.
Over your Big Ten loyalty. Gotcha.
Unfortunately, too. I hate that it has come to this, but it has. Tennessee Creighton, 2-3 seed game, 9:09 approx tip, TBS True TV. So that would be what, 10:09 for Tennessee fans? That's tough.
Yeah.
Tennessee's offense, bit concerning, I think. But I think you got to trust Connect because I don't think Creighton has an answer for Connect in terms of like defending him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be tough because, Creighton's got a lot of good players and they're good and all that stuff. By the way, Creighton, the king of being a good team that doesn't force turnovers, are 362nd in the country at it. But, obviously you have, if Ashworth is making shots, that's going to be huge. But you know what? I think if any team has anybody that could just get into Ashworth and make it miserable for him, it's Tennessee with Ziegler. And that's where I think Creighton could have some serious problems. So you're going to need Kalkbrenner to – I just think the physicality and the entire thing with Tennessee is just going to be so hard for Creighton to beat. But also, in the back of the head, there's always the Rick Barnes is a choke artist thing.
That's true.
And I think Creighton wins this game by 5. But everything else is telling me Tennessee is too physical. They have the best player on the floor. They have Ziegler, who's an elite defender that can just put Ashworth, just lock him up.
Yeah.
And still, I like Creighton to win this game. I don't know. Creighton's been flirting with losing in the tournament.
They have.
At least in their last game. Obviously, Akron, they took over after a slow start. But give me Creighton. I don't know. I feel like Tennessee's going to win now. I might flip.
I'm going Tennessee, 75-71. Just because of all those reasons you just listed and then didn't pick them.
I'm flipping. Give me Creighton 72, Tennessee 77. All official. Right. Just wrote it down. I got Tennessee because Rick Barnes. We're due for another Tennessee Purdue Elite 8 game. It happened in 2018, a classic. Is that Sweet 16 or Elite 8? I think it was Sweet 16.
And if Purdue wins, I just want to see them run through the Maui tournament again. Let's just run it
back. Yeah. Because who else did they beat Marquette? So yeah, if let's say if they beat Gonzaga, then they beat Tennessee, and they play Marquette in the final. That's the exact order it happened.
Same. Yeah,
from November 20th to 22nd.
Crazy.
It's probably going to happen now that I think about it. And then they'll play Illinois in the national championship and get smoked.
That's right.
Now, if the order stays the same, is there any chance that Purdue could play Texas Southern in the national championship game? Because that's how the order would go.
Probably not.
All right. That's a shame. All right. Now, the fun stuff, the coaching stuff. Nobody
Yeah.
cares about the Sweet 16. The coaching carousel, as it's called. A lot of movement today, a lot of action. The first one I wanted to discuss, this happened Saturday, but still the Louisville thing going on. Dusty May goes to Michigan, 5-year deal, which is something that Good Bloom has been complaining about for like 30 tweets about this. How do you only get a 5-year deal? Oh my God, yeah. It is
How
pretty
many
cheap.
years did he want?
I mean, I feel like he could have gotten a 7-year deal if he
Okay.
really.
I don't know what coaches' contracts are these days.
I feel like he had a lot of leverage with the Louisville thing. That's what, Also, I would have taken the Louisville job if I were him, but that's just me. Michigan's a good job, but Louisville's better than any of those other jobs. What do you think? Do you think Dusty May of Michigan's going to work out? What do you think?
I mean, sure. I don't know. Like,
He could.
Dusty May, has he done a whole lot besides last year?
I feel like when he took over at FAU, it wasn't the greatest situation.
Yeah.
You
He's built them into something, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they were like not horrific, but they were pretty low level Conference USA, 8-10 in the conference first 2 years. And in terms of budget and facilities and stuff, it's not the best. But I don't think you sneeze. I know this year was a underachieving, but I don't think you sneeze at going 70 and 13 in the last 2 seasons, switching conferences too. But this year should have been better. But offensively, he's always, his first couple of years there offensively, they weren't great. And they started to figure it out. And the last 2 years, they've been top 25 on offense and efficiency. So we'll see. I mean, he's got teams that pass the ball around, rely on that type of stuff. I think Michigan could use an overhaul in what they do. But it makes me wonder, why didn't he take the Louisville job?
Yeah.
Louisville is
because it's a train wreck. I know Michigan's kind of a train wreck. But
Louisville is probably
that's more because of Jawan, not because of just Louisville.
Louisville is probably one of the 6 or 7 best jobs in the country.
Yeah.
So I feel like he should have taken it, but I don't know the ins and outs. But Louisville has like endless amounts of money. So I don't know. I think a good coach, one that doesn't, throw everybody around him under the bus and then back over them, could probably figure it out. And Dusty, I think, would have been a great candidate for that job. I think he's a better fit there, but that's just me. I don't know what Louisville is going to do. I mean, they tried their hardest for Scott Drew for months, and it just didn't work out. I mean, they could get a lot of different guys if they want. I'm going to look at a list here. I think Goodbloom tweeted the candidates were Shaheen Holloway, Amir Abdur-Rahim from South Florida, and then Pat Kelsey from Charleston. Out of those 3, I would just say, nah, this is what we're going to settle for. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have taken Mick Cronin if the buyout wasn't so insane.
Yeah.
Because like him at Cincinnati, just go do that at Louisville and you'll be even better. Another name here, Jamie Dixon, Eric Musselman, Shaka Smart. I don't know. I think they're probably going to end up hiring Pat Kelsey, would be my guess. Which that would be a wait and see thing. That's something Kentucky's afraid to do. I don't think Kentucky wants to get rid of Calipari just to like take a younger guy and hope that they're the next big thing.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
We'll see. But Louisville, something's got to happen there. Obviously, it's last couple of years have been bad. Hopefully, whoever comes in can keep the best point guard in the country, Sky Clark, around. Anyway, Kentucky and Calipari, what do you do? I mean, the buyout makes me think they're not going to do it, but they should do it. I mean, they're just embarrassing.
I don't see a world where they fire Calipari.
Yeah,
I don't see it. I don't know why I don't see it, but it's tough. Did they sign him to a lifetime contract like 2 years ago?
A lifetime contract that ends in 2029.
That apparently they know when he's going to die.
Yeah, that's a disaster. I mean, why does he even want to do it? He clearly can't adapt. If other teams can cheat, quote unquote,
yeah,
which is what this stuff would have been back then.
Yeah,
Calipari's behind the curve.
The problem is he's still getting the guys. he doesn't know how. I mean, I thought Jay Wright had a pretty good point. Like, you can't bring in 18-year-olds to play 25-year-olds these days.
Maybe that'll level out again once the COVID year is gone.
Yeah, it could.
But
I mean, kids are going to try to stay in college as long as they can with NIL deals. So
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think Calipari is gonna stick around. Washington hires Utah State's Danny Sprinkle. They're about to head to the Big Ten. He did a great job at Utah State. Completely turned the roster over, entirely new roster. Won the Mountain West in the regular season. Win a tournament game, and he made the tournament twice at Montana State. So I think it's a slam dunk hire if you're Washington.
yeah,
I don't know how. It's definitely a better job over Utah State, but I don't know how much better.
yeah, it doesn't seem like a huge leap for. I mean,
No.
what they thought he might get. So
Darian DeVries to West Virginia goes from Drake. I think he's going to take his son there as well. He was due to take the step up for a few years. I think it's a good hire in terms of, you're trying to bring in a guy who's won a lot of games, no matter the level, I guess, right now. You're just trying to figure, like, they've been kind of sitting there just because of the Huggins thing. And then you have an interim all season, bit of a mess. You bring in a guy who has made the tournament 3 times at Drake in the last 4 years, and they've won 20.
Choking in the tournament.
Well, I think you have a better talent pool at West Virginia than Drake. They've won 25 plus games in the last 4 years. So, and they're always like fun to watch on offense for the most part. And, the Big East is getting tough, or the Big 12 is getting tougher. So it's going to be a tough job for them, but I think it's a good hire.
Yeah.
St. Louis is still open. I still think Shirts from Indiana State's going to get that job. And SMU is open as well. SMU won 20 games and fired Lanier after his second season. He's already gone somewhere else, I think. But SMU's going to the ACC, so because they want to take it up a notch. Maybe they hire like Abdur Rahim from South Florida, maybe. I don't know. Or Holloway. No, Holloway wouldn't do that. What am I saying? Why did my brain go to that? What an idiot. Kyle Smith goes from Wazoo to Stanford, which I don't know. I guess
is that lateral?
No, because Stanford's going to be in the ACC.
Okay.
Wazoo's going to be what? Mountain West, I think. So I don't know if that's the greatest opportunity to jump at, but who knows? Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Stanford needs to change something. I mean, Kyle Smith's won a bunch of games everywhere he's been. I think he won 20 games at Columbia. So, like, if you could do that, and then Vanderbilt hired James Madison's Mark Byington as their head coach. And I think that's a guy who can build a program, Didn't ever make the tournament at Georgia Southern, but they won 20 plus 4 times. And then obviously 32-4 at JMU this year, had a bunch of talent. I think you're looking for a guy who can build a program and also do it through the portal and know what you're doing. Good hire by Vanderbilt, even though I still think that it's going to take a while for them to ever figure it out in terms of being a contender in the SEC. But Illinois, Sweet 16. How about that?
I love it.
What do you think about the squirt gun thing?
I love it. Now, also, why Purdue fans are miserable human beings. Oh, heaven forbid you celebrate. I love it. I love that Brad has this team. This team has energy, I feel.
I'm such a negative person, though, that deep down I just am thinking like, oh, my God, they're going to have to change the roster completely for next season. I'm already thinking that.
That's true. You're Bill Selfing us, huh? You're already thinking about next year.
I wish Bill Self was our head coach.
Wow.
Well, I mean, like the last 20 years.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But whatever. I mean, there's certain guys that have adapted into the new world of college basketball. There's certain guys that haven't.
Yeah.
I think pretty clear if you look who's who here.
Yeah. Hunter Dickinson. But
John
I have faith in Brad that he's going to build another solid roster along with Merez Johnson. He'll be fine.
Nico Moretti and stuff.
Dane Danger. You ever heard of that guy? Dane Danger, as Avery Johnson calls him.
Yeah, that's true. Illinois is going to get that kid from Oklahoma. You can book it right now.
I'm in.
Book it. What's his name?
I had no clue. But
Otega Owe.
Shoots like 43% from three. Is that the same
37.7.
Oh.
At 6'5" wing, bring him in.
Yeah, I'm in.
Shannon replacement. All right. That'll do it here. We'll do I think we'll probably do a Final Four preview next week. And you can tune in the Illini Basketball Podcast tomorrow.
I'm gonna be out of town, but we'll figure it out.
It'll be figured out. You were out of town one tournament as well for a certain period. So
yeah.
Or one lead up in March. So
yeah, I can take a laptop. We'll figure it out.
No doubt about it. All right. We'll see everybody with that whenever next week. And then Illini Basketball Podcast tomorrow.